What's going on, guys? Welcome to an episode review for Nier Automata. This is episode 7, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Well, pretty much the entire purpose of this episode was just to basically properly introduce us to A2 by the end of this episode. That's basically what this was.
So this is another episode that, again, like, pretty heavily deviates from the game, but made some weird changes. Like, so before the episode came out, I heard that apparently they were going to be skipping the second fight with Adam and Eve, or well, I guess technically really the first fight with Eve at least, but it's the scene where they basically, and it's kind of an important scene where they go over like the aliens and show that there are the dead bodies of the aliens and stuff. I am kind of confused as to why they decided to cut that out, unless they're going to rearrange it and put it in later.
I feel like they're gonna rearrange that scene because I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Because we noticed that that there was that shopping mall scene that both 2B and INS.
Yeah, because they did rearrange that. They have definitely been like shifting around stuff in some interesting ways. So I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility that scene's going to be rearranged too. But the episode starts off with another scene between Adam and Eve, where they're basically like talking about like, well, Adam is just kind of studying, I guess, these different books, and Eve is just kind of bored with it. He wants to go and play. Like, he kind of has this mentality of a child, I guess. Whereas I guess Adam is more like mature and trying to be, trying to learn everything that he can.
Yeah, you regularly get these sort of scenes when you're playing I think it was Route B when you're playing as an INS. You just constantly flip in and out between like Adam and Eve's conversations about, mostly Adam studying like these different aspects on human behavior, while Eve is just like you said, he's the more childlike of the two, wanting to be more playful or wanting to hang out with his brother a lot more.
Yeah. Speaking of Route B, there is some other scenes that get implemented in this episode that were from Route B, and it's kind of what I expected them to do, is that they were going to basically combine Route A and B. That's probably what they're going to also be doing for the second half of the series with Route C and D.
Yeah. Now for this episode, one major change is them including Pascal into this episode, which they never included the character into this scene in the video game, because what happens is both 2B and 9S are tasked to go into this fourth kingdom, in which they're supposed to explore like this area full of like these hostile machines being ruled by this old king who apparently passed away due to, or you could say passed away due I guess being old and stuff. And apparently it's being ruled by, I guess, this young baby king that they appointed.
They've basically like created this society out in this forest, where it's kind of like it's supposed to, I guess, reflect a medieval society.
Yeah, of course. The only difference is, I think it was Operator 6-0 was the one who tasked 2B and INS to go into this forest kingdom. But the one major change they made was to help Pascal look for. I guess it was, if you remember it, back in the village, there was like these two sister machines. So apparently one of them went off to this forest kingdom because she wanted to find some replacement parts for her sister, but she never came back. So
so this is I just really quick, this is a side quest from the game, actually. And I was kind of shocked that they decided to implement the side quests sort of like into the main storyline, I guess. Where like in the side quests in the game, like you're I think it was called like Lost Sister. You go out to the desert and you're trying to find the sister. Uh, but they kind of like swapped the locations in the anime, whereas she's went to the forest. Um, and also, of course, the reason for uh 2B and 9S going to the forest is different. Where I think like in the anime, or not in the anime, but in the video game, it had something to do with one of the androids black boxes or something about like I forget the reason. It was a different reason though. Um, but they basically also implemented the lunar tier information about the lunar tier kind of in well actually this is a conversation in the game, but I like that they put it in the anime at least because the lunar tier is kind of an important item. Especially if you played Nier Replicant, you'll know why. But they kind of go into it here. I kind of hope they do go more into it because they do that in the game when they go into the side quest, Emil's side quest. So I'm kind of hoping. Also, speaking of Emil, I kind of hope he does end up playing a role in the plot at least, or he does something because as of right now, like in the anime, he's just kind of lying like dormant in a tree. So I don't know. I kind of hope they do something with him because I hope that that's not what I really hope that's not what he's going to be doing throughout the whole anime. Is he's just going to be like his head's going to be stuck in a tree.
Yeah, I mean, well, in the
yeah.
game, if you encounter Emil numerous times, mainly as a shopkeeper.
I mean, there's even kind of like I don't know if you call it kind of a joke ending or like a secret ending that involves a boss fight with Emil. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to find a way to implement that too, although it's not really that important. So, but yeah, like I do kind of hope that Emil ends up playing a role in the story because, I mean, the anime has kind of surprised me with Pascal playing such a big role in the plot.
Yeah, and part of the reason why they include Pascal is, I guess, to develop 9S's character to, I guess, be more, I don't know, be more forgiving with the machine life forms compared to how he was prior. Because if you remember, like in one of the prior episodes, 9S just mercilessly killed two defenseless robots begging for mercy.
Yeah, I mean, also if that's the case, I'm kind of wondering how they're going to handle his character in the second half of the anime because, without spoiling anything, 9S does become even more ruthless against the machines for certain reasons.
Yeah. So, but majority of this episode was just them exploring the castle, discovering a lot of the machine life forms just basically just being already massacred by an unknown assailant. And
yeah, kind of completely different from how it is in the game too, because in the game they're pretty much everywhere. But I was kind of surprised that in the anime, like they've already been defeated by A2, which kind of makes sense. I mean, because you do encounter her later at that point in the game, and it kind of makes sense that she'd if she's been through there, that she would have just wiped out all the machines.
Yeah, and of course 9S discovers like these what do you call those these data packets in which he pretty much sees like flashbacks of how the original kingdom was founded centuries ago, to the point where the original Force Kingdom's king died centuries later, and then carried on his legacy by I guess by appointing this infant machine as their new king. So eventually, the episode, near the end of the episode, they eventually find I guess you could say, the younger sister machine. But they also find that she was hiding out with the surviving Force Kingdom soldier, who she apparently takes a liking to, and wants, I guess, two of them decide to marry. Of course, it confuses 9S because he doesn't believe that that something like two machines marrying is even possible.
Yeah, they want to marry and start a family.
Yeah.
Which is also, of course, different from like what happens in this quest in the game, because she just kind of goes back to the village.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it is interesting too, because in the game she does end up asking like how you make children and all that. But yeah, it's like you said, it seems like it's pretty much impossible. But it's interesting how, like, of course the machines are trying to are trying to imitate humans and trying to, that it seems like they all kind of want to essentially be like humans.
Yeah.
With yeah,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, eventually, well, with with the behest of with the surviving Forest Kingdom soldier, he begs the group to head out to protect the Forest King. But of course, they eventually reach the Forest Kingdom infant, but unfortunately, it gets killed by A2 in the end.
yeah, yeah, and then we get like a kind of a brief fight with A2. Um, yeah, I mean, it pretty much happens exactly the same way in the game. It's just it's a pretty like it's. I mean, I wouldn't really necessarily even call it a boss fight. It's just it's a brief fight with A2, and then she basically decides to withdraw and warn 2B about like basically tell 2B and 9S that essentially they like Yorha can't be or the Yorha command can't be trusted.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference is that Pascal, uh, runs in to see this, and of course,
Yeah.
A2. Actually, the first thing A2 tries to do was to kill Pascal, and of course, 2B and 9S end up protecting Pascal from her. But what's funny is like A2 doesn't interact with Pascal until Route C and D.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're kind of like putting that in, stuff like that early on in the story. Maybe they're trying to kind of develop the relationship between them more.
Probably. And we shouldn't forget the fact that uh, there's a possibility of Lily and A2 interacting with each other again after the events of the
Yeah,
last episode. Well, during the what was
I
it?
think it's pretty likely that's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much this episode is what I expected. I'm just surprised that it happened this soon, considering that that we were this part of the story was originally supposed to be 2B and 9S supposed to explore this alien ship and face off against Adam and Eve, but surprisingly it
Yeah.
didn't happen. Maybe it's likely it's going to happen in the next episode. It's just
Well, I think we also mentioned something about earlier about them potentially cutting another part from the game, which is the where you fight the giant Goliath in the ocean. Possibly they could be like swapping, maybe like changing that with something else. Maybe like the Adam and Eve fight, I guess. But I don't know. I guess they could also still include the other scene as but yeah, they have been making so like I mean I am surprised at how many changes there have been so far with the series.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it's still more or less faithful. It's just I
yeah,
think I think they have a good reason as to why they're rearranging certain scenes in different places, just to I guess to make it a little bit more
yeah,
consistent with
it's trying to
its
like
narrative.
streamline things, I guess. It's basically just yeah. I mean it's try yeah, like I said, it's just trying to streamline everything. And uh, I mean, because Taro did say he wanted it to, it's going to be more linear. So I mean, you can expect, I guess, all the some of the side quests, I mean, to be implemented in the main plot or whatever he's deciding to do with the changes he's made with the anime, um, just to make it, I guess to make it more like that. Um, but yeah, I liked the episode. I thought it was pretty good, even though like there were some, like I said, some weird changes. But I thought they made it work pretty well for the anime. Um, I don't know if you have anything else to say about the episode though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's pretty much what I expected. Didn't expect it to happen this soon, just due to them rearranging, the certain plot points. It was also a surprise that they included Pascal in this scene when he wasn't originally in this part in the game. But
Yeah, it makes me wonder what else they're going to have him involved in.
yeah, but overall, so far the story's mainly stayed faithful to, I guess, where it's going to end up by the end of this first core, which is like I said, it's the first core is mainly adapting routes A and B, and the second core will likely adapt the routes C and D, which I'm curious of like how they're gonna handle that because I just beat Route C just a couple days ago, and I'm just curious to like how they're gonna handle the ending to that.
Um, well, it's kind of a similar case to endings A and B. For C and D, like there is a different outcome with D's ending, but it kind of expands on what was in Route C, I guess. So I mean, I get it's hard to say what they're gonna do with that. Like I guess which outcome they're gonna go with. But I'm more interested in how they're going to handle Route E, or not Route E, but ending E, I guess. I'm not gonna say what ending E is, but I have no idea how they're gonna do that one because that one is weird. They could do something similar, but I don't think it would work as well. So I don't know. I'm really curious as to how they're gonna handle that. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do something. They're most likely going to do something really different with it though. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode. Especially considering everything that's been different so far from the game. It's kind of become a little bit unpredictable as to what exactly is going to happen. I mean, of course, if you played the game, you can make an assumption as to where they're going to go next with it. I mean, I didn't expect what they did in the last episode, so I mean, hell, for all I know, they could have another flashback episode or something. So I guess anything's possible. But yeah. That all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.